Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show Live. I am the big guy, Ryback. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I hurried up there, just got streaming live on TikTok and Instagram. The TikTok froze on me, so I was desperately trying to get it on. Got it on just as right before we came on live here. So thank you guys watching the live streams on there. Swing on over to Ryback TV where the show is live. You are the co-host of the show. The ebb and flow of the show goes where your questions go. Super chats are greatly, greatly appreciated. The Big Guy Starbucks Fund and Shoulder Repair Fund on the super chats for the show. So always a big thank you for those who participate in the super chats. We are streaming live on Facebook at Ryback Reeves, and we're over on Twitter again today. Now that Twitter's being seen as a tad bit more, it was over there. We'll talk about that over a suggestion somebody actually had here last recording of the Ryback Show, which I was greatly appreciative of, and I'd seen on there previously, but I hadn't looked into it too much, and on turning my account private, and it's been very beneficial, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and what we've seen doing that thus far and all of that. This show is available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. Thank you very much in advance. And this show is brought to you by my Feed Me More Nutrition premium supplement sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors. Vegan friendly for men and women. He, she, and thee on feedmemore.com. New customers can save 30% right now. Discount code Ryback30, Ryback30. Returning customers can save 20% with discount code FEEDME20, FEEDME20 at checkout, where that has the code option for that there to get your discount. And every order gets a free bottle of our 123 Muscle Joint Tendon Formula, a $44.99 value, yours absolutely free, just for buying the best supplements on the planet. All the Ryback merch over there, accessories, drinkware, all that, guys, beanies, workout gear. We've got it all. So check all of that out. T-shirts, sweaters, tank tops, got the whole shebang on there. All right, what's going on? We've got a crazy week. A lot of things going on. We've got a Chinese air balloon situation, whether they're calling it a spy balloon or not calling it. There's a lot going on, and the big guy is watching the big guy, if you know what I mean. I'm lot to talk about with all of that, and I got to fly out tomorrow morning to go to Baltimore for my big signing at Baltimore Celeb Fest 6 here on Sunday from 10 to 2 p.m. Alongside Darren Young's going to be out there, Fred Ross of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and former Nexus Bud, and it's going to be good to be out there. And I think there's going to be a lot of people, so it should be a very, very good time and all that. But I want to know, is it safe to fly? I want to know, is it safe to go to the East Coast? Even though it's going to be a quick 24-hour deal in and out, but still, it's like, we hear the balloon is mid-continental United States and working its way east. And then there's reports of there's another balloon in Canada. And then there's people saying that there's multiple balloons coming from up north. And it's like, well, what's the deal? So I have my eyes on this, as I'm sure a lot of people do. I tend to try to just stay level-headed on things, but I tell you, I see they do the little press conferences and the president walking away from the questions, and then the other guy not giving, look up if you want to know where it's at. Like, no, maybe communicate with the people you represent. And there's some things that aren't sitting well on that end, but we'll kind of see what's going on with everything. I'm doing good. My big carb day today. And then I'm going to probably try to do a 48+ hour fast going into my appearance. And because I always do my 24-hour fast Friday night into Saturday night. And since I'm doing the signing this week, I go, why don't I just try to push it, since it'll be easier because I'll be kind of so busy and moving around. And I go, and plus two, doing a fast, I never even thought about this. Every time I've always traveled, I spend so much in eating, especially when I was on the road, when I used to eat more frequent in smaller portions. I always had to stop. And it was, but I was like, man, if I fast, I'm just buying water and coffee pretty much, which that's a lot more in airports than it is anywhere else, but still, as opposed to having to order food and eat a whole day on the road, I was like, why don't I just try to do a 48-hour fast? And that's what, so like, well, that'll make this trip even smoother. Then get home, and then break it or push it into the following Monday, but we'll see. JECS Gaming says my Feed Me More Nutrition order just got delivered. I'm enjoying the mango candy, and we'll have the BCAA later when I work out, and the muscle joint support I'm having my parents use. Very, very cool. It's a very good idea. A lot of people, older people too, that have joint pain, tendonitis, arthritis, different things. This stuff is the real deal. So it's too. I feel like in 30 days too, you'll know if something's working or not. So it's I like doing the free giveaways on that stuff, even though it takes out money away from the company to a degree, but it pays off long run, and it shows people how legit everything is, that over something that they might not normally buy. So that makes me very happy. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of the mango as well. About to do a big reorder on the pink lemonade, actually. Probably put that in tonight or Monday morning. Who was the hardest person to work with in the ring? I don't really like stuff like that, man. Like everyone was pretty easy to work in the ring. I mean, some things took a little more than others. You know, some people you didn't have to talk to as much. Others, too, like if you're working, the game plan going into working a giant or a larger human being that wrestles a specific way, and you're not, you're only picking them up for maybe the finish, and they're beat up and they don't want to, you can't just throw them around. Even if you could, you just can't throw them around because they're not bumping, they're veterans. And so the game planning on stuff like that is, different. A live event against Big Show is going to work a specific way, and he'll still completely even do some things he probably shouldn't on live events. He always did with me. He was always really great. But I'll give you an example like that. But you're not doing as many things on a live event. You're going to work a more basic match, in a safer match, but still have all the areas to bring the crowd into it just as much, as opposed to like a pay-per-view match where it's going to be a little different setup with that kind of stuff. So they just all depends, like, but nobody was ever difficult to like. I think more outsiders, people get so caught up with like certain people or things, and like, even the people, like if you have stuff can't, you want to get some things together and it doesn't, you just go out there and do it. And that's like, once you do that, you're just like, oh, that's it. So, which is way more fun working that way oftentimes too. But nobody's difficult like in that sense or in any sense. Do you have a casket? Because I just murdered this workout. I love just random things I'll read in the chat at times. They often take me off guard because I'm scrolling, because we get a lot in here, and so I'm going up and down, and then something will just pop out. Hello, hello. Yeah, everyone caught up in rumors. The second we learn the lingo, working stiff, we believe anything. Yeah. It's all it's we live in a day and age too. And you got to understand, like people too, with me in particular, all these sites that still write stuff about me, that you know why they do it. They get good views on the stuff. That's why they when they get a formula on something that works, they just keep redoing it and redoing it. All this stuff is recycled stuff. Someone will say something that everybody will make a content off of that something, and it doesn't matter if something's true, something's not, and people will, and you can't, and I learned that you can't control the way people take in information. Like people haven't listened to and read and lived the life that I've lived and have the experience, and like so their level of perception is much different, drastically different. Each individual person's level of perception is only based upon what they were told that was put into their baby brains and the information they chose to believe in or not believe, et cetera, to whatever stage of life that they're in. And so that's why when I see stuff, it's usually they're all cut from the same cloth, and they do it with everybody. Like the information's just like, it's so easy, you know. I till this day, like I laugh. I genuinely laugh when people will like put the stuff in, like, oh, Ryback, I'm going to watch Ryback botching. My honest thing, I see that, I go, bro, whoever, like, hun, list all the botches. You're going to run out of, you could not even one hand's worth. List them all, maybe two or three. And even those, that's botches are just certain things happen, and you adjust and you move on the fly with it and you keep going. You know, people, there's stuff all the time that happens with every talent, and some of it's caught, some of it's not. You know, did you ever see Brock Lesnar fall over trying to FI Big Show? It happened. Do people say, you know, Brock Lesnar? I'm sure there's videos and stuff on it and whatnot, but like, there's people, you know, they just say things that I go, you've clearly just read. So I go ahead and list them, and in one hand on that, and I go, I have thousands upon thousands of successful attempts, and maybe two or three that didn't go exactly as planned. I was like, I'm pretty damn good. So, what do I think of Prison Dominik? I love it. It's entertaining. I think he has as much heat as anybody when people boo him. I think it's adding layers to his personality. You know, coming in his Rey Mysterio's son, and he was always that kid everybody grew up watching, and he loved his dad, and he was involved in storylines, and so I thought they brought him in a great way and allowed people to get accustomed to Dominik Mysterio, and then this turning him against his dad and adding these layers while in Judgment Day it's grooming him in for more and more and more, because he's doing a great job with it. And so that's what too oftentimes you got to remember, in wrestling fans and people in general do this with everything. People don't oftentimes, and there's certain people that come in and get really hot really quickly. You could say that, but I was there before as Skip Sheffield in Nexus, and I definitely wasn't hot. Had people's attention, but I hadn't broken out or anything. But the Ryback coming back, that took off pretty quick. But oftentimes that doesn't happen more often than not with that. And it's different for each individual talent. But fans and people, I think, sometimes have the expectations for new talents and judge them based off of, you know, the all-time greats of people that have spent their entire lives and they're done with their careers. And so you have this idea of what a superstar is, or you think of them only in that sense. You don't really, you know, even though you may be aware of their debut, you don't really realize, unless you sit and watch the development or a promo video over the years where you could see, you're like, oh my God, I remember that now. Like, whoa, I never would have thought this guy would be doing this. And, you know, and so he's so early on in his development, and he's doing, like, he plays every role. Great, man. That's exactly, like, I think it's a great thing. And I look forward. I hope him and Ray do a match at WrestleMania, and they keep it going, and he's going to be a better babyface when he's a babyface again. He'll be a better heel when he's a heel again, you know. And it's but I listen and watch. He gets, like, he got as loud of a reaction getting eliminated, boos, like people were glad he got eliminated out of that Royal Rumble. It got a great reaction. That's what you want. You don't ever want it to be silent. If you're a baby face and get eliminated, you want to hear the air get sucked out of the crowd. You want to hear you like, if you're not hearing that, like, if you're a baby face and you get eliminated and they go crazy cheering, you're like, unless that's by design, by something you're doing on TV where, you know, but like, if you're like, ooh, that's not the reaction I want to hear. That you don't want that reaction, you know, or dead silence. You're like, where nobody cares. That's the worst, because oftentimes you're either not doing something on TV, or you're not doing something on TV good enough, or just for whatever reason, right? So he's getting reactions, really, really good reactions. They're in the reactions that you want. So I think he's doing a fantastic job. Super chat. Sprained ankle, bad week. About a week ago. Bad week ago. Sprained ankle, bad week ago. Good. See you. Go KC. Thank you very much, Ryan. I hope your ankle, keep it elevated when you can. And if you could soak it in ice water, an ice bucket with ice and water, 15, 20 minutes, 2, 3 times a day, I think that will greatly, greatly help speed up the recovery of it for that. Ryback, please share the story backstage when Brock Lesnar encounter your gloves. There's not. I don't know. I don't know what the story is about Brock Lesnar encountering my gloves backstage. If you could elaborate on that further. Does vital wheat gluten need to be cooked? You know what? That's a good question. I would say it doesn't. I'd say the content that it's just a matter of how are you going to consume it. If not, like I think if you're sprinkling it on stuff, I think that's more than fine. It is oftentimes cooked with. Like I used to like when I used to use it more. I use it very sparingly now, more as a sprinkle than anything. As like I sprinkle like on top, but I cook it still with the food. In that, I would look. I'm positive you could consume it, regardless. It's just a matter of is it if you can handle it or not, or if you like it or not. So, but that stuff it comes that man gets your protein levels up on that. So it's definitely valuable to have that kind of stuff. Excuse me, got done eating my black rice and plant-based steak a little bit ago. My middle carb meal. I got to do a feeding time tonight after a big workout. The having that stuff in storage is beneficial too. Just put away. You know, if you got like in times of like an emergency, you've got rice and you've got beans. You know, having some bags of wheat gluten. That's you mixing in that with beans and rice is the complete protein, and that's you can live off of that forever. And you could store a lot of it, and it lasts for a very long time. As we talk about everything, this damn spy balloon, Chinese balloon. I was like, of course, the one weekend I'm going to go do an appearance. God, could we just fly out stress free? Could it just be a nice, happy weekend? And I always make the most of everything. Last thing I want to do, though, is be away from everything and on the other side of the country, which I booked a rental car just in case. I have it booked when I get out there that for whatever reason, if air travel was stopped, that I am hauling ass and getting back to Vegas. That's again, hopefully that never happens. But just I was like, I'm just gonna have a car just in case, just so there's not because I don't like the way the communication has been on this stuff. Thank you very much for watching, Rick, the feeding time videos and saying you love them. We'll have a new one every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific. YouTube, I got it, man. I'm trying to really, and I've always worked really hard on this, and I've grown this channel. Like I said, one of the most followed on YouTube in pro wrestlers as well. But they've taken away my audience and people to talk about this. Twitter, and this is, I hope people are believing me more, and I know they are, because you can actually now see it past of the proof that I've shown when I post analytics. But now you actually can see that because the whole thing was if Elon and them figured out if you turn your account private, it shuts down. You can't retweet tweets or be seen by other people. Can't normally see it, right? It does. So it's not. It's a drawback in that sense. But your own followers, it just for whatever reason, it bypasses a portion of the algorithm, and you're seeing more than you would be under the public tweets because of all the shadow banning tools and everything that all the coding that they've talked about and different people that's going on. And there's a lot of levels to this. And they don't know if they're going to have to do a whole new code from scratch or what, but like they're working on this from what I've heard and been told diligently to try to like get this resolved. But I'm going to try this, and I normally get now on my tweets, and they told me I was again restricted, whatever, the other last week for no reason, don't know what, and didn't do anything. But then like 10 other closed cases in a matter of days and not answering anything. So I was getting anywhere from like 1,500 to 3,000 views total, with just under 1.4 million followers on there still, like 1.3 and then 390,000, I think, is somewhere around that, like 100. But that number keeps dropping slowly from the last 3 years, over 300,000. That's gone down with that. But I put it private, put out the tweet. And so I said 1,500, about 3,000. Every once in a while, one would get 4 or 5 or 6,000 impressions over a course of like days, which is horrible. That's under 0.5% impressions for the following. And then I did it, and we're almost to 300,000 impressions on that tweet. And then all my other tweets, people are finally seeing me on their timeline. And so that alone just shows, okay, my account, you could see now. You clearly see something's going on. You have to ask yourself, now, why would he be involved in this? Why would, I'm not political, I'm not tied into anything on that end of things. And how does that times it when exactly when I said it started happening in 2016 and showed the letter from WWE. And so I think this is why I'm so focused on Twitter getting resolved, because it's going to now, everything I've said on this, and this is why I've been repetitive, and I apologize if people are sick of it. But the more I say this, new people hear it, and it's going to make that impact of when it's changed that much bigger, because I've talked about it so much. And I have to talk about it so much because it's been so limited. So it's a lot of the same people seeing it. And I understand that with this. But there's a reason behind this madness of having to stay on this and stay on this, because then it's going to be like, holy hell, there was an issue. He wasn't lying. Now it's up to you. You're going to, oh, well, you deserved it. There's people, right, coming from different things. Well, maybe it's because you said this a year ago. Well, explain then the other 5 years. And then, by the way, they said that one thing didn't do anything. That didn't violate any rules. Okay. But that's the argument some people will make on it. So if that gets resolved and I all of a sudden start getting hundreds of thousands and millions of impressions again and going viral for the first time in almost 7 years, people are going to go, what the hell? Like, Ryback was right. Then I go, okay, now take that same thing we see that's going on there and look at the YouTube, look at the Instagram, look at TikTok when they put it in effect on TikTok. I go from getting almost 100 million views to hardly any overnight. Like, but you could see at least I'm able to go and be seen for periods of time. Imagine 6.5 years straight of not. And this is where I told people, like, this is a very, very serious offense. And we have a lot of information, and again, it's a wait and see approach with this and getting this information and going. But it's a lot of people go, well, why don't you just sue? Why don't you just sue? You have to understand, just had a thing going on with the Ryback trademark that cost well into 6 figures, well over multiple years with this to finally get it, to win it at the end. But there's a lot. And like now with this stuff, and you're dealing with every social media company, and how do you prove when, I could say, well, I've had all these cases you guys have not answered. I do this stuff in my spare time and have conversations with these people and try to get stuff fixed. And it's so, but at least you'll see why I go, what I've been telling you guys and why they did it. A lot of people can't understand or comprehend. And they go, well, other people have left there and done things. They go, it's not even close to the same thing. It's not even close. There's so much behind the scenes with legal stuff with this that was tied in and walking away. I go, they want to make an example. They want people to believe that I'm a loser, that I am not worthy of success. And they try to completely dry me out and damage my brand. And this has been going on year after year after year after year. But I keep fighting it and finding ways around it and doing things with it. And the truth is finally going to win. But it's being done to set another example to wrestlers that you don't walk out, you don't speak the truth, you don't beat us by speaking your truth. We'll have people, we'll turn the narrative on you. We'll come out with all these fake articles. We'll get people to believe a narrative about you. We'll pay a former talent to go ahead and confirm those years later. And you just go, and it's like, despite, and that's what they do though. They try to damage your brand, take away your credibility with things. And I've just had to go, I know the truth. I'm not going to believe the lies. Now, other people are going to with that, but I've just got to stay consistent, hold my guns, and the truth is going to win and come out on this. And that's what we're seeing on this one thing. And I really believe it's going to spread into the other platforms and show people like, yeah, I had this big following for a reason. I've been able to grow a bigger following than any other wrestler all this time away from TV. And I know it sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm trying to make a point on this, that this is serious with it. And it's not like people go, well, you're not, we're going to throw a shell shock here. You're not relevant. You're not this or that. You go, no, but I am with the people that see me still. Now it's just a matter of, you don't need to be on TV to have a massive following. This is common knowledge. Plenty of people have done this on social media with it. This is TV. This is more powerful with this. I take pictures in the gym daily from people that just know me as a TikTok star, because TikTok shows me to so many people compared to the other ones with that don't even no idea that they never even saw the Chips video. They didn't even see me from wrestling. They just know me as a TikTok, the funny guy, or this guy or that guy, from being familiar and being seen with that. So, but it's my fight, and I try to communicate that to you guys, those that follow, that know with it, because it's a matter of success with branding and business and life and taking care of my family, parents as they get older, a lot of responsibilities that I've fought in building this and getting fulfillment and doing everything for years and building Feed Me More Nutrition from scratch with everything. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let somebody take anything that I've worked so hard for away. So that's why I will fight it. I will fight it to the end, no matter what, with it. And the truth is going to win. But Twitter, we are seeing that finally. And there's still going to be people that don't care. And that's fine. Like that say you're this, you're that, and you deserve it. But this is, I would wish this on nobody, but I was built it allowed me to prove my mindset, and I can handle anything. And don't, like, all day long, because I know the truth. And that's what that's just hold on to the truth, and nobody can take that from you. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see all you guys. Thank you, Scott, for saying you love listening to the show. I'm doing very good this Friday. Thank you. I did not return to the Rumble because I've got a trademark situation that is not finalized yet, that we are waiting to become finalized and get the official documentation with that. That is very important for working out deals with my branding, with everything. And I also have a shoulder that is not where I need it yet. I'm going to talk about updates on that routinely. So just going one day at a time and continuing to get better. I just met another guy at the gym through a friend that I've known that used to go to this old Gold's on Lake Mead in Buffalo. It's EOS Fitness now. Nice gym. I used to work out there when I was younger. Jay Cutler used to always do a lot of his, a good amount of his workout videos there, on some of his like Olympia stuff, because he's pretty not horribly far from that area with all of that. And but there was a guy that used to go in there when I was younger, and he actually knows this guy that does shoulders, a shoulder therapist, and he works with a lot of frozen shoulders. I always tell you, like, I'm so protected, like things just happen, and they happen at the right times for me. Like and this guy, he thinks he could further get my shoulder where it needs to get through some different techniques. And so I'm going to be scheduling him hopefully next week and putting him into the mix and seeing if this all times out for when that documentation becomes official. I'm in shape. I'm in as good of shape right now as ever. Like I'd like to be training a little heavier, but that's a quick fix once my shoulder's where I'm comfortably happy with it. And so that's just kind of, I know I'm on here every day or multiple days a week, and I try to be very transparent and communicate with you guys on that. But a lot of people don't get it, and because I look completely fine, but I assure you that I wasn't, and it's something that's never been done before. But you'll never hear me, like, if I firmly believed, I know I'm overcoming it because I've come so far already. If I really believed that I had no shot or opportunity, I would retire, and I would have no problem doing that. I would be content and satisfied, even though it's still upsetting the way everything ended at that period in 34. Like, that's far too early for everything that I already had, overcome and done. But I'm so content and at peace. Everything that happens is for my favor and benefit, and I believe that. And there's always a positive out of anything as bad or is whatever, however we perceive it, negative at the time, right? So, but I know I'm so confident that it just has taken a lot of time, and as I've gotten older, I've become more patient, and I go one day at a time, and I don't worry about the things I can't control as much, and it's helped me greatly. But like, I get it, I see it when people see me. It's like it's very repetitive for me to talk about it, but it's, again, when you're kind of suppressed and things are not communicated, and when other things, people write articles, they don't talk about that fact of things that's happened. So people really, because that's kind of a babyface situation. It's a complete babyface situation. And if they're trying to write negative pieces on you or things, they're not trying to put you in a positive light. They don't want people to see that this guy's trying to overcome the impossible. And it's just like, he's a bad person. That's the narrative. He's this and that. And you're just like, no, it's not. That's not true. But it's going to happen. But that's why I wasn't at it. And besides, it would take so much more besides those two things. You were my dad's favorite wrestler. Thank you. Thank you. Tell your dad the big guy says hello. Thank you very much, Joseph, for the kind words. Very, very nice words. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, the truth always comes out. It always does. It always does. And that's oftentimes people that stand up to that. And there's a reason why a lot of people don't stand up to things. And it takes courage. But I had a lot of things happen that gave me that courage. And I had a lot of anger with them in general for past things that I'm not happy about. Still not. And but I've moved on and done. But they've latched on. But it's. I have no doubt the truth is going to come out, and I protect it, and it's gonna favor me at the very end. I promise. Hey, Ryback, Timothy says, why does the WWE, AEW, and TNA have beef with people recording at an event? I notice when someone from YouTube goes to an event. Let me scroll here. Sorry. I notice when someone from YouTube goes to an event, they get to keep the video up on their channel. Yeah, I don't know, Timothy, what the rules are in recording. People clearly record, don't they? Clips and stuff, or like of the shows, and put them out there. Now, I don't know if YouTube, if WWE has a copyright with people doing footage, if they get that taken down on YouTube. I'm sure they probably have. If it's not WWE footage on their channel, because then they're monetizing that. So that would be maybe one reason why, if they at the events, if they, like, outside of pictures and stuff, if they catch you video recording, maybe they try to stop as much as they can. And my guess for that would be so that when they post their clips of what they want to post on their social media channels and on their YouTube channels, they're going to get more views because that video hasn't been posted by somebody else getting those views, and they're going to monetize it. That would be my number one guess as to why to try to stop that. Would I ever consider coming back to WWE? Imagine the pop you would get returning. Yeah, and I've talked about this, guys, and I'm telling you, I'm so laid back and easygoing. But I will not. The way things have gone down, I've communicated enough months ago when all this, and I ended up winning the Ryback trademark. They were gonna lose it no matter what. They dropped it because they are selling the company. Nick Khan just again confirmed today, I think, that they're gonna be sold within 3 months once that process, like it's gonna be happening pretty quickly here with that. But I wrote it out. I won my trademark with that. There was a settlement on the table they brought a year prior when Hunter and them took over. They reached out again and said they wanted to repair the relationship. Great, so do I. You got to right the wrongs of the past. Here's what we need done. This is an issue by social media, which they agreed to on the settlement. They agreed the social media stuff on the settlement that we had with this, what's going on with that. And there was a monetary amount as well for past legal stuff that they'd cost me and forced me and lied to me on different things with that. And when I did my deposition, when I had to go meet the WWE attorney with my attorney down at a legal office here in town and do a 2-hour straight deposition with that, which that was a lot of fun, but easy work. But their attorney, after it was all done, he kind of dropped the act of try to play evil, intimidating, whatever. NWO Matt Lauer is what he looked like. And but he's like this tiny guy, going bald, and not that there's anything wrong with going bald. I'm bald by choice, though, just so everyone knows. But he tried to like mean grimacing stare when I walk in, and I just smile. Like it's just like this guy like trying to like play off of Vince's vibes or something. It was crazy. But then he lightened up at the end of it, and it was communicated. And I sent Hunter a message. I go, and I was just straight up. I go, you guys say you want to repair the relationship, and I just communicated what the attorney had known and passed on. And we'll talk if you want to talk. But this is what needs to be done, and for this to be made right in my mind. But like at the very least, you would think they would go, let's at least talk about it. He has decided not to do that for the time being, for whatever reason. And I know what those reasons are because I've talked to him enough with that. And I see right through the fluff and the bullshit, and I'll call him out on it to his face because I don't care. I've been through, I'm not, and it's nice and laid back. I'd rather just get along and have a great conversation. But like, I refuse to let anyone lie to me to my face on it and just sit back and just go, no, that's wrong. And this is why this is wrong with that. But we can't even get to that stage, and because they know what they're doing and they know they're wrong. And I've got more than enough proof on different things with it. So it's an acknowledgement on their end that they were wrong on things, and like it's just mistreatment on so many things. So until that point happens and then the wrongs are made right, nothing could ever happen there. I don't care. I could lose everything, and I will not succumb to that environment ever again unless the things are made right and things are different. Not worth it. Not worth it for the peace and happiness that I have. Not worth it. And I won't have to, though. That's moving forward with it. It's a great story. Yeah. Would the pot be great? I'm sure it would if it's a great scenario, and I have no doubt it'll be bigger than ever within it. But things need to be made right. I'm not a past talent that needs the money and going to go and just go sign a contract because I need the money. Too many of the guys, this is pretty much why everyone goes back. And they go back and you wonder why they're not used well and they embarrass them. It's because of that. That's the only reason. It's not for a love of the business. It's not to appease the fans. They need the money. But then they sacrifice, they go ahead and they go, it's just a job to pay the bills. I will do a million other things before I go back to that if things are not made right. And I will have no worries. And by the way, I can go back. There's other companies and there's a ton of different independent promotions I can go make a great living at going and I can go wrestle 2-3 times a week and make more money than I made in WWE right now. So I'm not worried, as well as all the other money that I'm making from everything. So this is why this stuff is very important to me on that. But as far as the WWE, I'm so honest on this with you guys. Like it's that simple on their end, and they need to talk and communicate. And then the things that I have talked about with them, that stuff needs to be discussed and handled between us with that. And that's the stuff they always avoid and they don't like. They don't, because they're wrong. And that's what but it's like, I don't hey, you guys don't need me. Fine. Keep doing what you're doing. Fine. But yeah, you guys have done a lot of bad things. I will be red hot on all of social media the moment all this stuff is done. I don't need to be on TV to get millions and millions of views everywhere all the time. And they know this. This is why they've reached out and done all of this from the beginning. And they know the energy that I possess and why I'm able to go out there and do what I do. That's why I have the confidence. And I understand it. And once it clicked, but I'm not going to I just need to go back. I got to go back for the fans. I got to go back. No. Go back because I love it. I want to do it. And yeah, that's a part of it when you're there, and it's a good part of it with it. But you don't make bad decisions on your life based off things, you don't let somebody kill your family. And then you can forgive them and you can move on, but you're not going to then invite that person to come sleep in your house to stay the night. That's how I view this stuff with it. So there's stuff that needs to go on. I do have a Chick-fil-A mukbang on my YouTube. Nicholas, I'm going to get to your question here on keeping a positive attitude even in pain. Sweet Sugar Sugaru with a super chat. Ryback Show regular. What's up? I'm playing Call of Duty. Tyler, you need to hit pause and you got to get in this. You got to be a part of the Ryback Show, man. We need your 5-on-5 matchup ideas. We need to hear your Mount Rushmores of beefy muscle-pied men. We need all your input. We need your Vince McMahon's last match idea of the biggest of all the giants a 10-man tornado giant match, Tyler. Tyler, for everyone that's listening or watching the Ryback show, Tyler, who is dubbed Sweet Sugar Sugaru, that was my wrestling name that I gave him upon the federation that I'll be booking for. He's going to be a very, very key talent at some point. Sweet Sugar Sugaru with everything. But he likes the monsters. He likes the jacked up powerhouses. He likes the giants. He likes the methodical wrestling. That is Sweet Sugar Sugar. Even though he is not that, he is more of a very, very big underdog going lightweight going into matches. I picture him with a very, very pale skin, with it, and just severely underweight, almost anorexic. Not quite there. We got to have him meet some requirements to be in the federation, but he likes those bigger, larger than life superstars. He likes the beefy ones. So if you're listening and you ever hear me say Sweet Sugar Sugaru, Tyler Sugaru, you know who we're talking about. Kind Luke, thank you. Thank you saying your family's watching. I appreciate. On the Ryback show, I always try to keep no cussing on here, even though we will sometimes go on a little rant, maybe to a negative mark, but we always try to keep the cussing to a minimum. So this could be considered a family-friendly show. And we do very good numbers on TikTok, anywhere from 25, 30 to 100,000 live views on this show on there. So thank you to my TikTok Rybackers out there. Nicholas, again, how did you keep a positive mindset with your pain? I have a slipped disc, 9 fractures, arthritis, and inflammation through my whole back from being hit by a car. I'm always in pain. It sucks. And Nicholas, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know your particular situation. Obviously, it sounds absolutely horrible with it. And I can tell you, though, from my experience, when my back was at its worst, and my right leg had went numb from the nerve damage, my 5 disc being just severely degenerated in my right leg. I'll never forget when I first noticed it. I went to go, and this is very manly of me, shaving my legs in the shower. And I went to go shave my right leg and I couldn't feel it. And this was after my back was already bad, in tons of pain. I'd already left WWE. I had my ear and nose fixed. And I thought having time off, like my back and like shoulder would start feeling good. That didn't happen. They got way worse. And because then they took the Toradol and cortisone out of me because I wasn't on the road getting pumped full of it all the time. And then my body just started like breaking down rapidly the first few 4 or 5 months I left WWE with that. And I'll never forget, my leg went numb and I go, oh no. Because I knew already with like the dealt nerve stuff. And I go, this is not good. And I thought like maybe like my leg fell asleep and I'm like slapping it and then like trying to like get it awake, and it just never came awake. And it would go through stages of getting worse and not as bad, but always numb to some degree. And like certain things were aggravating in the gym. But like my back was so bad at its worst and I wrestled with this on indies. That weight belt I held me together with some exercises. I did these core exercises that helped get my core tight to go out there and to stay together for a brief period of time. I would wake up in the morning and sleeping on my bed, which, by the way, I had a very expensive mattress that I gave away, and I went and bought a super hard, firm mattress because I thought like, because my back would hurt so bad at night. And in my head, I had a softer mattress. And so I was reading maybe the softer mattress, it was causing me more pain with my back condition because I was sinking into the bed. It had like a memory foam on it too, and damn near 300 pounds, even at that time, 275, 285 in that range. But my weight at night would sink in because I don't move around a lot either with my apnea machine deal. And I would wake up in the morning and couldn't move. I couldn't even do a sit-up out of bed. I had to roll out of bed. I would fall straight to my knees because my back muscles had relaxed and like spasmed so bad that like they were the absolute weakest of the day when I first would wake up. So I would have to roll onto my knees and take my apnea machine off, and I'd have to just sit on my knees and just sit and let my back like kind of settle in for a period of time. I'd have to use the stand, my nightstand and bed, and get myself up. I'd go straight to the shower and turn the shower on hot and go and just sit in the shower in there and let the shower hit me and try to wake up and get my muscles loose enough. And then I'd have to get dressed. And I could not even tell you, putting on my boxers in my like pants or shorts, I had to use my feet and like do Houdini and try to like get it up one leg enough while keeping it around my foot and reach my hand down. Like this is not exaggerating, like sitting on my couch, like and getting in. And this is at 34 years old. 34. This is how bad it got that people don't. And I'd get myself together. I'd get everything. And then the back would start, as I started moving in the day, the back would start becoming a little more limber. And then I would do these different exercises and different things to just get me through. And, but it was bad. It was bad. And I thank God, like my back is 100% now. And the stem cells, I've been blessed, but like the pain, I was like, and I know this with my shoulder as well, and I'm so focused on getting it better. Living in pain, it changes your day-to-day, everyday life. It changes the decisions that you make. You know, when my back was so bad, people asked me to go out and go do stuff. I just like, all I cared about was just icing and using my heating pad, like, and doing different things. And like, plus too, I had a lot of stuff with my company and doing everything early on. But like, it would put me in a bad mood if I had to do something, like, as far as, because it made me in more pain. And then that pain's reminding me of like, I'm supposed to be in the prime of my life. And like, I'd let myself gotten so bad, and everything just fell apart with it physically, and like making a lot of money and doing things at that time too. And I'm just like, none of this matters. This doesn't matter. I'm so miserable. Like, and it is so like, I know. And that's why people too, like, doctors prescribe pain medication, and the stuff is so innocent on the purpose of it. And this is, everyone's different with how they're pain. Some things could be resolved. Glute training, strengthening our butts, our glutes as much as possible. That will take away a lot of back pain. But there are things, you were in a car wreck, that are damage that is going to be done that most likely or good chances are not going to be able to be repaired with certain things. You're going to be limited. You've had damage done from an outside source. It isn't like, it's not normal. You know, you weren't able to get the stem cells and regrow the disc, and things just miraculously return back to normal. You have real life damage that has gone on. And so you have to, like, what works for certain things, there's not like a one size fits all, right? And so you're just stuck with this pain. Now I don't know, are there certain things that you could do that can maybe help lessen the degree of pain that you're in, you know, doing some of the exercises, the different things I was doing certain glute work? Are you physically able to do certain glute work? Well, there's a lot of unknowns in that, right? Or do you take ibuprofen 3 times a day? Do they give you pain medication? Do you have to take that, which obviously has issues with that? I've known people, my friend's dad lived off of pain pills. He had many back surgeries, one after the other. That was another reason why I knew not to do that, because I remember how much pain he was always in. And he was a young, healthy guy, and he was just constantly always crippled, his back. And I never, now looking back, I go, man, with that. And like, but he lived off pain pills still. Like, it's a horrible thing. And like, the longer time goes by, do you need more of them? And, you know, then you have mood swings from pain pills if you're not on them, and you're on them, and you're off them, and you're off them. You develop an alcohol problem while on them. Like, that's why these things happen with people most of the time. Not every time, but often, a lot of times, very quality, good people and stuff. And that kind of stuff could take over your life. So it's like, what do you do if you opt not to do that? What I opted not to do that. I didn't want to go that route with it and just be in pain, but it takes its toll on you. But that's why we try to just find happiness in the simple things and not compare as much as possible. But like, you oftentimes wonder, like, when we have pain and things like that, you're like, well, why am I experiencing this? And why, you know, and it's truly too, like, having a positive mindset and like trying to take some sort of control. You're like, I'm going to try, like, I don't know if I'm going to do, I'm going to try to feel better than I currently feel. And that's all I could suggest to you, because I don't know, again, all the details and everything, but I would just strive to keep your mindset of, okay, this sucks. I don't want it to suck this bad. Like, I'm going to try. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but my mindset is going to be, that I'm going to try to have the healthiest life possible and be as pain-free as possible. I would remind myself of that, and through my affirmations, which I do already in different things, but that's what I would really try to get my mindset on, that, and find things that motivate you in the day to try to keep you moving and doing the things that you could do at whatever level that is to improve your quality of life above what it is right now. And it's not going to happen overnight, but I firmly believe if you can get to that mindset, that maybe there's a chance that things get better. Whereas if nothing changes, nothing's going to ever get better, right? And that's the level of, like, that's all that you can control. Because there's definitely, and I'll be the first to admit, there's outside forces at play. There's a lot at play that is, I believe, at times out of our control, whether it's our fate, our destiny, just different things, our life purpose. That but we can control how we react to things and our mindset to things, and I do believe we can make things better than they could currently be or would have been had we not had that mindset. Super chats here. Let me get to these guys. Sweet Sugar again, everybody. No need to fear, peeps. Sweet Sugar is here to give you the best 5-star match booking you'll ever see. Feed me more. Sweet Sugar, ladies and gentlemen. Ryback Show regular. You too could be a Ryback Show regular with your daily contributions of super chats. Grim Reefer, I'm sorry, on TikTok there, messed up the damn, so freaking jacked. Do you think, Grim Reefer, do you think Dark Order should get a reboot or just be over with? They lost momentum past post John Huber, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's a good what's the word I'm looking for? I think that's a fair argument on your part. I don't think a lot of people would say that the group is more prominent now than they were. It seems almost lost, and rightfully, it's understandable at this, but it has been now quite a while. This isn't immediately after, right? And I think it was so, like, Brody turned that into, and with those guys, give them all credit, they turned that into, when I first saw it, I always I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. It seemed like, but it's pro wrestling, so I don't need to, like, because as long as there's a crowd, a portion of the audience, this is where I look. I go, just because my views on something, it doesn't mean that's everybody's views, and that doesn't mean that it sucks or it's bad. It just means that there's different things for different people, and we all have different preferences. But I first saw it. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of it. I was, but I didn't. I also, though, am like, I know what it is, right? And so you give it things a chance, and I'm glad they gave it a chance, because when he came into that, and he, even from the origins of it, and then him infusing his personality and his sense of humor, which brought everybody, and everybody had a sense of humor, different people, all those YouTube videos and everything they were doing on TV, and it was, had they kept that going, that thing could just kept growing and growing. It would have got more and more over. And those guys individually would have got more over, but it would have been done as a group, and off of Brody's back, and everything that he'd worked for to get to that point, and finally letting his personality that we all knew and loved starting to come out in a working way with that stuff, and having a good time like that. The sky was the limit for that. And that group would have evolved and probably gotten away from probably some of the Dark Order stuff as time went on, more and more time, but it all ended so early, right, with everything, unfortunately. And then those guys, the thing that made it was gone, and it hasn't been replaced, and they're just kind of all it's not the same. Easy, buddy, no spamming the chat. Sammy Zayn, great guy, love him. My Donald Trump answer, great guy, love him. The fantastic, absolutely do love him, though. So do I think I don't think it would be a bad idea to try something. I don't know what the answer to that is, though, as far as who I think those guys in they have personalities, some of them, where they're entertaining. Where having somebody that can bring out their comedic side at times is a good thing, but you know, you never want to try to copy what they were doing because that was so natural what Brody and them were doing. So it would have to be somebody, and it would have to be their own thing. And whether it's funny or not, again, depends on that person's personality and that group and how they choose to do things. Because you're going to have some people that, you're just doing it to copy what they were doing. And but so I don't know who that person is and how successful it will be, because I think the other thing really, really was working. And can it work again? Absolutely. But a lot of time has passed, and it's there's also nothing wrong if with just disbanding the group. You could always bring it back down the road if you think, and people with and try something down the road. But again, they have so many people on the roster there, and they've got all the different shows, and they have a lot of groups and people. But the good part about having groups is it can get you on TV even though you're not working a match or anything, which is better than nothing. But it's not, at times you're better off being on your own and being on TV than being in a group, unless you're consistently being featured in a group. And that's when you're on TV a week and then off for a month or 2 months or 3 months or half a year, like in those. So, or you're on the secondary shows, you're not seen by as much people, but you're kind of like, are the guys, they're kind of just spinning their wheels? I don't know. I'm not caught up on what they're doing individually or in the group. I just know they're not featured nearly as much as they were, right? So it may not be a bad idea fully to just go ahead but again, though, too, they go, well, what are we going to do with the guys? And that's, again, then they're like, really, because their individual identities were never, that's like Nexus. Our individual identities were not made in Nexus. And I'll never forget, Vince, actually, we had promo. I was actually fortunate enough to be a part of that, where you've heard I'm sure they've talked about it on other shows, where Vince McMahon, it was because there were so many new talents. And I think it was their way of passing down the kind of the business to the new group of guys and doing those promo classes. And Vince and I had to get up there multiple times, all of us, but we all had to, it was, and that you want to talk about like high pressured situations with all the writers and the producers and all the other talent, all the talent that they chose to be in there, which was a lot at the time, and Vince in there and just everyone. So you are working. You're working while you're sitting there. You get called on the fly with that. But Vince, when we were Nexus, this was going on. And Vince had just said, he goes, he had all of us stand up in front of everybody. And I think this was the first time we got called on in there and together. And he goes, he was talking and he was explaining to everybody how we were a bunch of developmental talent and on this NXT show, and how individually we were worthless to him in a way, like that individually we were nobody, in that we hadn't done anything in the business, and that it was, but we were all just green new talent on the main roster. He goes, you throw an N on them, you put them together, and they become one. And he goes, they become a top act, something along the lines. And this is, his word was so long ago, but that was the gist of the promo that Vince and he was introducing, because I think we had just debuted, and I think he was introducing us to the rest of everyone as the main storyline moving forward, and why we were the main storyline or the main top heel group at the time or whatever. But he was explaining the business of it, we were individually hadn't done anything, and we had none of us. And that later on, we all went on and did our own thing, and we all had our own successes, and that takes time. And we formed our own identities and personalities, right? But if you look at that original group, it's all just all new guys with no history or anything like that. And I always remembered that. And I remember that when they did the Shield, you look at the guys like the Shield, and this time they got over as a group, Nexus got over a group, but it's not till they go on their own and become their own personalities. That's where talent becomes valuable, their own brand on their own with that. And I don't know where I'm going with this, with the Dark Order, outside of Brody at the time, who had the run with WWE. Right. And so he was known. He had, in his personality, was being seen for the first time, really, but he was known. He was well known with that. The other guys weren't. And in their identities, it doesn't matter how funny or this and that. You got to be really have that individual time. And so that's where if the group comes to an end, it won't be a bad thing, but they are at they're starting over. And finding themselves and seeing, if they could stick individually with that. And again, on a show where, you have to do that on secondary shows, but that's what the game plan, if somebody says, and I don't know why my pause, it's live. Sorry, IG. Kicked me off the live on IG. It paused. Or nope, it's the hour mark. That's why, sorry. But in my head, if you're a talent and you're starting over and you're going to be with AEW or those, you're going to be on the secondary shows, the internet shows. The goal is get over on those shows, get those people chanting for you, taking notice of you, however you can, come up with stuff, try stuff if you're out there, because if you start getting over on those shows, they're going to take notice and they're going to put you on Dynamite. They're going to put you on Rampage eventually. They're going to take notice. But that would be my mindset going in. Like, I'm just going to have to go get over on these and find things, and you try things. I will. And if I'm a promoter or an agent, I'm looking, the talents that are going out there every week and doing the same things, and if they're not getting over and nothing's changing and they're just doing a bunch of moves, but nothing, they're not getting good reactions on their introduction, on their entrance, and they're not really trying different things. They're not bringing the audience in. But then I see somebody that's going out there trying stuff, trying to relate to the audience, trying to find a way to get over, trying to find a way to stand out, to go, hey, what doesn't this roster have on it right now? And that was one of the best things that I told you Shawn Michaels taught me when I went up there. He goes, take a look around. I was doing Skip Sheffield, and I was doing the Ric Flair up and over, running down the apron. I went flying up the turnbuckle, doing an axe handle, and it all was fine. It all technically was fine. But he just goes, take a look around. He goes, there ain't no one like you up here anymore. He's like, do you want to be the best powerhouse and make a bunch of money, or do you want to just kind of blend in? And but that taught me a very valuable lesson of how to mold your style and adjust your game plan and your performance by what they need, not by necessarily you want to be what you are, be who you are, but you look around and you go, what do they need? What don't they have now? How can I be on this show every week and not be like everybody else? And so that's where these guys, you have the opportunity to go down there and do that on these shows. It's not to go down there and hit 1,000 moves. You're on those shows. Yeah, you want your game to be as tight as possible. You want to be as crisp and believable on everything that you're doing. But I promise you, if somebody on those shows starts selling, and you really start selling and get people behind you, and you have your cardio games on point, and you have a gas tank to blow a comeback. I don't care if you're doing the most basic thing. I can go do the most basic things and go get over, because it's having that intensity. But that's what those talents have to realize that and understand that they have those opportunities. But that's what you're looking to go do on those. Get people invested in you, to care about you. Start having them make those reactions on those shows. They're going to notice. And they may not notice right away, but they're going to notice at some point in time. And that's where things will improve, and you'll get opportunities with that. Hopefully, again, not everything. There's no guarantees in that world. It's physical acting. But that's the mindset you got to have a chance at success, I believe. Sweet Sugar, yo, what hurts more, being put through a table or hit in the back with a steel chair? I'm going to say being hit in the back with a steel chair if it's laid in, which it always should be. Unless you're doing one of those WCW Hogan chair shots, brother. Somebody had a compilation video of some Hogan chair shots that popped me huge. There were some of it. They were the safest chair shots in the history of chair shots. And I know it was a fun video with that. But getting hit in the back, I'll tell you, Bret Hart, when he went Nexus SummerSlam, go back and watch where he got me. I don't know if it was after I got eliminated or right before I got it. I think maybe it was right before I got eliminated. I can't remember. But I'm on all fours, and he hit me across the back with a steel chair. It, to this day, was the hardest chair shot I've ever taken, and not a bad way. Like, didn't it hurt me at all? But I felt the nerves in my body. I was like, whoa. It was cool to feel like that. But it was completely flat and safe across my back. Nothing hit any of my bones on it. It was loud as all hell, and the crowd reacted to it. And I always love that I got these interactions because I took when being in the ring with Benoit and Deep South Wrestling, because I feel like I got a little bit, just a little bit of something. And that's what they like, that intensity. I go, that's the intensity, hit hard in safe places. That was always taught, all coming up. And those things, the more believable you are, the more believable you look. It really, really, people sink their teeth into that overall. So I was like, that hurts. As far as the impact of it, going through a table is very, very easy. Unless the Bob Holly situation happens, hardcore Holly situation, right? And that was always concerned with those things. And sometimes chips would go flying, but the actual impact of it, and I sometimes would have a scratch or something randomly, but for the most part, going through a table in the ring, and I've gone through them out, they're not bad, not bad at all, because there's padding underneath too. If you're doing it on the floor thing, so it's like in the padding isn't always necessarily that cushy, super soft padding, but it's padding, and it's like the ringside padding at different times. There's different paddings; they have different levels sometimes, but yeah, not bad. Let me see here. What up, big guy? What's up, buddy? What a swerve if we found out Sweet Sugar turned out to be Ryback's illegitimate kid. Oh, man. That's the random comment of the day. Random comment of the day there. Just curious, though, Sweet Sugar. How old are you and where are you from? Just so I know. Sure, about when was I last in Medellin, Colombia? I went there 1 year, then a year off, and then back. And was that 2018 and 20 that I went there, I believe? Or no, yeah, 2018 and 20 or 21. Maybe 2000, yeah, 18 or 19 and 20 or 21. Maybe that was it. 2019 and beginning, and then the other one 2021. My kids from Colombia are going to come calling you. 10 years. I love the whole Bloodline and Sami Zayn storyline. I talk about that. We have a lot of clips on here, Ryback Show archives, past Ryback shows, all this format, these recent last couple of years, last year and a half episodes. I have interviews, conversations dating back. This has been going on since 2016, though. Now that I'm being seen a little bit on Twitter too, and hopefully they get the platform fixed, we're hoping, where the public tweets, where people can then see me and new people can follow me and retweet me, and I'll have the ability to go viral again. It should help, even while these things are not right. It will help me be seen by people that have lost track. Like, I never saw so many good comments in my Twitter in 6.5, almost 7 years. The other day, it was honestly, I was taken back because I see good comments on other platforms, right, at times in different ones. But on Twitter, you'd see some, but not a lot. I mostly was getting seen by people that didn't like me and didn't follow me. And so I would just, anytime I'd open Twitter, all I'm seeing is bad stuff. And then you just block. If I see it, keep going along. Every once in a while, I'll make fun, have fun with it, because it's the pro wrestler in me. If you ever see me zing somebody, it's the pro wrestler in me having fun with it. I think it's because I think I just told a guy today he had 48% body fat to STFU. Like, it's just having fun and then giving them a little attention too. Compliment to the big guy. But I'll be a pro wrestler till the day I die. So I'm going to have fun every once in a while. And it's up to you to understand, I try to explain so you understand my mindset a little better, different times. And I'm a big believer in being well-rounded, and you can be big, bad, and tough when you need to be. You can be funny when you want to be. You can show emotion when you want to be. You can be compassionate and have empathy, and you can be loving. And if you ever watch my personality, I think shows that on my post, where it could be a fun, loving post of my dogs, and I love them more than anything. And then the next one is a perverted, funny post, but it has a positive message in it that I want you to see the message, but you guys are perverts and you'll click on it. And I know that, and that's why they do the best views. But I'm hoping more people will see my message doing that than if I just put a positive quote, which I'll still do that by itself, but it's hardly seen. But you put a positive quote or a positive message with a sexual picture, cha-ching, game on. with that. But that's the mindset of why I do that, because I had a couple people like, you're closer to 50 than you are 20. You need to grow up, because they didn't like one of the funny posts that had a positive message. And I just go block. I ain't going to change. I'm going to be the same way. That's freedom, brother. Being able to do how you truly are. You get so many people are afraid to be themselves. Like, I'm going to be laughing till the day I die, wherever that point comes. Hopefully, well, as long as I'm healthy and able to go into my hundreds. But if it's miserable, take me early. But I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be doing TikTok videos, feeding time. Wake up. It's feeding time. I'm the big guy, Ryback. In my 90th birthday, I'm having a vegan cheesecake, half a slice, because my doctor said I can't have too much sugar. With a hot young babe next in the car for views, because I'll still be figuring out how to get the views, because no one's going to want to watch an old man eat cheesecake by himself, let alone half a slice. Hot babe, though, in the car with next to me that I probably paid for, but I'm making sweet money on YouTube by that point. So, but I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be me with it, and because I'm confident, and I've earned the ability to do that, and it's the best way to live. But that's why I'm trying to let people understand my mindset better on that stuff, why I explain this stuff. But with Twitter, I'm hoping we get these numbers improved. Sophie and little guy are on the floors. Little guy's right behind me. He was over here as I was recording a little bit ago. But Sophie, they're going for their WALK right after this. So they're patiently waiting. I think I missed super chat. Tyler, Sweet Sugar Sugaroo, this show never fails to entertain. Don't worry, big guy. Sweet Sugar Sugaroo is not your son. Thank you, Tyler. You never know. I don't know where Bill, you guys are conspiring, and Bill's bringing that up. Michael Morante says, you got me sitting in my car eating vegan burgers and fries 3 days a week. I'm hooked. I'm also I'm hooked. LOL. Also, brick over pizza or regular. Brick over pizza or regular. Brick oven pizza? Is this? I don't know what the LOL. Also, brick over pizza or regular. Just put a comment what you mean by that, so I could answer that clearly, please. Thank you for saying you love me, Anna. Appreciate the kind words, and welcome to the Ryback Show. Jorge, would I ever go back to WWE again? We watched at the beginning of the show. There was a question that I answered. I feel pretty thoroughly on that. And if you go back and watch the history of the show, I've probably answered multiple times pretty thoroughly on that. Yes, brick oven. What do you prefer? Man, I tell you, good pizza is good pizza. I've had both. I can't remember. I'm trying to think of I know I've had brick oven pizza with that. Man, pizza pizza has to be pretty bad for me not to like it, which I've had bad pizza, vegan one, and can't really recall having a lot of bad pizza. Like, I'm pretty simple. Like, it's as long as everything's on, it's good. It's nothing's past expiration and gone bad. Like it and everything. I love, I could be happy with Pizza Hut, with Papa John's. I could be happy with a hole in the wall pizza parlor. But a lot of the pizza that I've had has all been the plant-based, and there's a lot of really good ones out here. I have had a couple bad ones. One really bad one that were not nearly as good as regular pizza. But there's been times I've done a vegan or a vegetarian Papa John's, or a vegetarian stuffed crust, eating the dairy with the cheese, and just a handful of times the last couple of years, and they're good every time with that. But yeah, I don't really. I'm not. I'm pretty laid back. Good food. If it tastes good, tastes good. I'm not like, man, I need that brick oven pizza. No, a lot of the vegan pizzas are not bad, man. I highly with the plant-based cheeses. A lot of people, they're very very good, and they put you get plant-based pepperoni or sausage or meat lovers. They can do all this stuff plant-based, and it is. A lot of times people I think really really enjoy it, but there's no denying either. Regular pizza. Like I'll never be one of those where like that stuff is disgusting. No, it does taste good to me. I'm not going to lie about that, but I choose to do it for multiple reasons as often as I can, not consuming it, and for health and performance benefits and the inflammation benefits and the animal benefits of animal cruelty. And I'm not perfect though in that, and it sucks. But I try not to, and I don't do that. And I don't eat like the steak or anything. I haven't done that in a long time, but I've been guilty of doing chicken wings here and there, and it always was my favorite food. And I don't feel great doing it, but more often than not, and I'm plant-based is almost as much as possible in my diet, and all the different foods and the vegetables and a couple of the plant meats, the steak and chicken that I use, and with salads and my plant protein and with that. And so thank you for all the good questions. Tommy, yeah, the vegan stuff I just do once a week. Like I got to do my video after I work out today. I got to find a spot still. I haven't even looked. Like today's a busy day. I leave. I'll go to Baltimore soon for that appearance Sunday. But my breakfast is typically egg whites and two whole eggs, and with a little spinach, red pepper. Then I usually do a little small amount of fruit. Like I'm talking about like a serving, not even like one or two figs, one or two cherries, a small little scoop of blueberries, or like a small little piece of banana. Because on my low carb days, it's very little carbs throughout the day. But lunch will be my ISO Hungry plant powered protein shake. I'll do 3 scoops of that, maybe a little cacao powder in that, in natural peanut butter, and then I do a can of pickled beets or regular beets and rinse them out really good. And I've got raw beets in there too, or I'll do 1 or 2 raw beets and just cut them up and eat them raw. On that, that's my lunch, and that's just a small amount of carbs. We're talking like maybe 10, 12 grams total on that for those things. And then post workout will typically be the plant Beyond Meat, a whole bag of the plant steak, and I'll do a bag of the little salad. Cook that with a little basil, some seasonings, usually some pink Himalayan sea salt, good amount of that, because after post workout, sweating a lot, and I do sauna. I usually do 1 or 2 little pickle spheres too, to get a little extra sodium, because I sweat from all the stuff and the hard conditioning. So I'll do that plant-based steak, and I'll put a serving of hemp hearts, and usually either chia seeds or a little flaxseed sprinkled on the salad as well, with a little plant ranch or green salsa or a guacamole salsa with a little plant ranch, and maybe a little extra hot sauce. Then my last meal will usually be plant chicken. And I'll usually do another whole bag of that, because I always strive to get over 300 grams of protein a day with that. I do a bag of the plant-based chicken, then I do asparagus, and I just kind of take 1 or 2 portions, usually 2, maybe sometimes 3, and some green beans, or I'll switch out broccoli or maybe a little more spinach every once in a while. So I do a little olive oil in there, and I cook all that together. And then I do 1 serving right now of barbecue pistachios and one Brazil nut. I throw in there for some selenium, and that's been the diet usually 6 days a week. So you look at that, it's 4 meals. One of those is a shake and the beets, but 4 meals throughout the day, spread out morning, afternoon, late afternoon, evening, and very little carbs with that. And then what I'll do is, and then my carb days today, where I'll have my high carb day, I'll do my cheat meal on there. Like my meal before this was about 4 servings of white and black rice mixed. I cooked that for the dogs. So I take about 4 servings of that, just under 200 grams. And then I do a bag of the plant steak with the salsa and that, and that was my lunch. and I had my eggs this morning, but I do it with some Dave's Killer bread with that, and also a peanut butter and jelly, natural peanut butter and jelly sandwich to get a little more carbs on the bread. Another couple slices early in the morning. That was the lunch. I'll do the cheat meal after my workout, and then I'll try to do one more high carb meal at night, and then I'll go into my long fast with that. And then I do the fast, usually 24 hours, and then repeat the low carb days. So, and that's been what I've been doing, and getting leaner and in better and better and better shape and body composition, and holding on to my muscle mass, and feel really, really good doing that right now. And like I've cut back. I haven't done, like, this will be week 2 of no wine. I'm just continuing to improve things as I kind of gear up for things and where I see things going. And I always would do red wine on Fridays, but I've been doing that. I've done this in the past where I like being in control of things. And so just like, for a while, there'll be times I'm just not going to drink for how many ever weeks or months. And on that one Friday, that's my day to have it, because I'm big on balance and having it and mental relaxation. I think it's really important. And I think it far outweighs any negatives. But if drinking 2 bottles of red wine, even though like it doesn't really do, like, it's a lot though. It's an equivalent of drinking 11, 12 beers, something like that, or 11 shots. And when you put it like that, I would never do 11 shots. That's unhealthy. But you can, with red wine and doing it with a gallon of water, I'm just going to just chill on that for a bit and not do the wine, and see if my body too, because every time you drink, it slows your metabolism down for a good period of time. I'm like, man, I'm doing that fast. I want to really benefit off of doing that fast, and I can look even better. And so that's kind of the game plan right now with what I'm doing. I'm not doing the hot challenges right now. I have the Pocky 1-chip challenges in there. Me and Phoenix were going to do that a while ago, and I've just not been, man. I stopped doing all that stuff because I literally have done the hottest things, and I always wanted to do that Mad Dog Plutonium #9, which I still have. I have a cupboard full of stuff that they've sent me to do. And I just got to a point where I just go, this stuff isn't healthy. And I had a couple bad outings. One really bad, that hot tub death nut challenge in the hot tub. That was, I mean, very close to having to go to the emergency room. I was bad, and I was very worried. And because I did those on a pretty much empty stomach in a hot tub to try to make the video better. And it was not good. And I did that very early on in my development, and I got really good at eating hot stuff, but it's not worth it. It ruins your whole day pretty much. And I just go, no matter how my tolerance was, because the heat in the mouth you get used to, even though it can suck at times, it's the internal heat in your intestines, and it cripples you. And it's fine. Hey, I've done it. But like when you're busy and doing other things, and you're trying to, be active and go training and work on your shoulder, and you got to constantly do work messaging people, last thing you want to do is be keeled over and be uncomfortable. And then every time you go to the bathroom, your arsehole's burning. You think that feels good? These are the behind the scenes things that these hot challenge people, you don't see them a lot of them throw up stuff, and to get it out of their stomach, which is not good for your esophagus, your throat lining. And it's a crazy world. And I just go, these people are making extracts and things that they're meant to be one drop in like a bowl of chili, and like people eating spoonfuls. And I did them, and I've done them. I go, you can see how mentally tough I am for someone that never did that stuff. And that was always kind of the concept, to show people how mentally tough I was. And then I was like, I'm not a chili head in the sense of like, I never got a high from them. Like people that are chili heads say they get highs. Like I never once got a high off of eating anything spicy like that. I never got a euphoric feeling. It just was hot, and like didn't particularly like it with it. And those after effects are not cool. But so that's why I've just kind of it was never the intention to do those all the time. They did well. People watched them. I'm thankful and grateful for that. But it was just, we have a lot of content on them. So, but never say never on maybe doing a Pocky chip challenge or something at some point. But I just haven't had that motivation at the time to ruin my whole day. What do you think you'll miss, Michael Morante? Good question. What do you think you'll miss more when it's all over? Hanging with the boys, or the cheers from the fans? Well, Well, I don't think you ever miss. I think I have good memories of the people I got along with well there, and I felt like I got along with pretty much most people, just laughing and having a good time whenever around, and that stuff never necessarily ends. You see people at other things and whatnot with that, and it just, I think it depends. I chose to ride alone after a period and learn, and to learn about business and finances and different things that have helped me in my life. And I didn't had to ride with groups of people outside the beginning, where uh, I was with other people on the road. Essentially, I was, just by myself and learning on that, and it is a different mindset on all of that. So, but around all the guys all the time in the building, great times on that, and hopefully there'll be more. But the cheers and that stuff, that can all that comes, and once you're out of that element, and that's oftentimes people talk about that adrenaline rush. There's nothing like that in the world. I think about that often, like the reactions, and I've been fortunate enough and been in some nice positions and had some crazy reactions, and I'm grateful that I've got to experience that, because most guys in the business won't ever get to experience that to that level. And it was pretty surreal and incredible, and I think that's something it would be absolutely, amazing to experience that again, but under the right circumstances and being healthy. I'm grateful for what I had, and if my shoulder never, I couldn't, I wouldn't feel sorry for myself, or say like miss that, I need to do that again. It's great if it can, though, because it would be a great addition to add into my current life. But we'll have to wait and see. But I say, as far as missing, I think you miss all of it at different times, points and times and different things. But like, I don't ever, like, I think now, like, I'm so grateful I get to be home. Like, so many of the guys aren't home all the time, and like always living out of hotels, and it's not a fun life. It's, you do it because you work. That's what you do, and it's the way the system is. And but like, I've experienced, the power of entrepreneurship and ultimate freedom and destiny and control. And I don't have to set an alarm every night. I just wake up early every morning because I'm so stress free. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to bed at 10 and wake up at 5:30, and I wake up around 5:20, 5:30, 5:40, sometimes 6, sometimes even earlier, sometimes 5, just wide awake, ready to go. Here we go. I don't but I think that you think you miss it all when you're away from it, and it's the even though you talk to different people when you're gone here and there still, and you're not in that setting, in that environment, but there's positives to being out of that environment, and where the guys and people are stressed all the time and they're going gray, and you haven't, because you're stress free, and you're not picking it. You've gotten rid of the bad habits. A lot of people drink all the time on the road, smoke a lot and drink a lot, far past like what just a little, and that stuff adds up, ages you faster, and it just so. But I mean, you always miss the different parts of it. I have good memories. I told you guys, hanging out after shows, and when I'd be the last thing on and out of there to drive 3, 4, 5 hours, and all the people would stay. There'd be hundreds of people out there outside the shows waiting to you're the last one left, and they're waiting to see you, to get in your car and go drive on. And I'd stop and sign and take pictures with people, and to try to leave a good memory for them. And I told you I did that all the time with that, and it was always something. I have fond memories of that, because those people that know, and I've get messages, and the people, they know that I'm not what was pushed out there. And do I wish even more? Thought, yeah, but it's, with everything that's gone on. But those are good memories, and that was me, and that's how I am. But I also, like I said, like, if somebody, like, the bad, like, I don't have time for that, and I'm not gonna just shut it down and move on and think what you want to think. But Tyler, I hope Sheamus gets at least one more world title run. I agree. I think he will. He really deserves it. Guy plays a great baby face and an even greater heel. # Celtic Warrior. I'm a big fan of Sheamus, and I firmly believe He will. You know, it was odd. He was always used as he was that groomed very well and put in a used very well early on. And then they kind of they dropped him a little bit, and I'd say dropped him in the sense of he doing different roles outside of that the main stuff. But they do that with a lot of people, and they cycle him in and out. And it's nothing wrong with it, but there's times like he's gone a long time without being back in that title picture, right? With that, and even to the IC title, I'd like to see him have a run with the IC title, which maybe that's the next step. If they do, I'd read they wanted to do a triple threat with him, Walter, and Drew at Mania, which will absolutely be an incredible physical matchup like none other on the card. And that will be one of my must-see matches if they go through with that. I would hope he gets maybe a big WrestleMania IC title win. I don't think he's won the IC title yet. That would be nice to add to his resume. And then eventually at some point in time, maybe use that to have a run and then do something to elevate him back into the title picture at some point. No issues for me on that. He's always done well in whatever role. He's done a lot of the tag team stuff with multiple tag team partners. And in that time, he's never lost his identity of being Sheamus, and he's added layers to his character. And he's had an amazing career, man. I'm very proud of him. He works. I'm telling you, he works so hard. He hustles and he works hard. He always did it from FCW. He used to stay, and I always remember he used to stay in, like with Steve Kern and like some guys. I was so new to the system, and like I was my like guys in wrestling. Some guys would like say he was like a brown noser. Or that was kind of like for people down there that he sucked up or was a brown noser. And I remember I looked and I never thought that about him. He never came across that way and things, but he worked really hard, but he tried to learn as much as possible. And now maybe some people saw different things that I didn't see, or maybe but at the end of the day, he was trying to soak up as much knowledge from these people that had done it for him to better himself. And that's what you do when you're hungry. And he was that way before other people. And really, that's why he got up there before some of the other guys. And because he had that work ethic and that little bit extra. And sometimes it doesn't matter what you can do and your ability, but he was over with the right people too, because he asked questions and picked their brains. That probably favored him in reports and different things, and it turned heads. But also, though, he was able to back it up with his ability and his work ethic and his style. And he's always been a big brute and out there, a brawler. And man, he can go. He can go. I've had some, as he calls them, bangers with him, and me and him have very good chemistry together. I've never had an awkward thing. I've worked him when I was main babyface. He was heel. I've worked him when he was babyface and I was heel. Done live events. Man, always fun. Always a good time. And just he will give you everything he has on everything. Like even if he's tired, he keeps going. And that's what you want out of a top tier talent, man. I have all the respect in the world for him. But with that, guys, we're at over an hour and a half for today's show. I got to get the stuff done. With all that, if you're in Baltimore on Sunday, hopefully, as long as this balloon situation blows over, there's not more coming. Because if there are, I ain't going to Baltimore. Get a phone call. Hopefully, though, everything's all right, and be Baltimore Celeb Fest. 6 from 10 to 2 p.m. with Darren Young, Fred Rosser from the Nexus. So come on out there if you're in the Baltimore area this Sunday, guys, February 5th. They're doing pictures and autographs. They charge for all that. I'm not in charge of that, but you're more than welcome just to say hello if you don't want to spend any money. And you're never going to get an argument or get me upset over anything like that. And I know times are tough and et cetera, with all of that. But it's always you can always say hello. That's always free. With that, and please check out my Feed Me More Nutrition, guys, on feedmemore.com. We all have that in the description of the comments. Please like and share this channel. The reviews on iTunes are always greatly appreciated. If you leave a comment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We're on multiple times a week, please. If you're not getting notifications, there's a lot of people with the stuff. Please just check the channel if you could keep me in your mind. It greatly helps the cause. And we're gonna keep hustling and staying hungry over here until the very, very end. So With that, guys, let's have a great one. I won't be streaming this weekend, so have a great weekend. Be safe, please. And until next time, stay hungry, Rybackers. Feed me more.